on this rap-ish. I ain't even broke a sweat, homie, this practice. Pondering my next move, staring at my track list. Hope I ain't missing my window. Praying like a Baptist, Seattle's own. Tired of this Game of Thrones. They made a list of the best rappers, and guess who wasn't on? While the disrespect continues, I'm steady packing these venues. Guess if you ain't at the table, you on the menu. And I'm that spitter, baby. They don't want you to see, but everybody south of Capitol Hill's rocking with me. Boys smoke the trays and ponder getting their life together. I'm comfortable with my role, so I'm like, whatever. I ain't got a job, but I work hard. And you don't work hard, but you got a job. The irony is I'm judged while you feel the applause. I'm slept on, that's why I had to set this alarm. My dudes is armed, I'm armed with this arm charm. Body banging like she got that cream from Barry Bonds. Yeah.
I did it for the city, I did it for the love, I did it for the people, I did it for us.
X-ray season is here, a real hitter with a mic, I'm everything that they fear. With that, hood ain't the same, I was all on their ass, I'm level-headed. So yo, my dudes love when I spaz, and I'm so over Seattle's passive-aggressive attitude. They don't call you back, what they really saying is F you. While I'm from the same place, I move at a different pace. I prefer if you just said it to my face, damn, I did it.
I did it for the city, I did it for the love, I did it for the people, I did it
hate
for
these
us.
average dudes with they average spit, writing average rhymes, knocking average chicks. The closer I get, I can feel the people starting to shift. I'm loyal to a fault, and everybody can't come with. Rap's a rich man's game, I'm only playing with change. They bang models and singers, I'm knocking my old flame, I'm different. The crowd, I move with the chosen few. Black thoughts, I could be the front man for the roots. No diamonds and gold, I'm on my sticks and stones. If we can see your panty line, you should have on a thong. My team is strong, through this fire we forged a bond. And they already know what it is when I get on. To the hearse, party like it's December 31st. When I'm on my deathbed, I probably cracking my nurse. You ain't got the bars to compete. I'm a verbal athlete, deflating these boys so they say that I cheat. Damn, I did it.
I did it for the city, I did it for the love, I did it for the people, I did it for us.
Yeah. I should probably start by apologizing for the long wait, man. You know, I know I be tripping. But I'm not just a rapper, I'm an artist. And, you know, my creative process is a little bit different than most. Nonetheless, I want to welcome everybody out to the Dre's Experience. I got TCF in the building. My whole camp's here with me. I got the band in here laying this cool-ass vibe. And I'm Seattle's own. Let's get into it.
Happy Monday, everybody. Welcome to the Morning Update Show. I am your co-host, Trae Holiday. And boy, oh boy, we got a packed show for you today. So you guys know I got to bring in the guy, my co-host with the most, Mr. Big O. What up, Big O? Happy Monday.
All right, Trae Holiday, happy Monday to you. It's good to be back in the studio. How was your weekend?
You know, my weekend was great. Had some good laughs, had some good fun. It was great.
Oh, you did. We hooked up this weekend, right? Went to a comedy show, Julius Caesar's Laugh Rehab.
Yeah.
We got a clip for that later on in the show as well. All right. Want to wish everybody a good morning. Welcome you here to the Morning Update Show and remind you right now is a great opportunity for you to tag and share the stream. Go ahead and tag and share the stream with people who you feel would appreciate culturally relevant news and information emanating from right here in the Emerald City. Also want to give a big shout out to our partners at South Seattle Emerald and KBCS 91.3. That's Bellevue College. Also, reminder to everybody that you can catch us, the Morning Update Show, wherever you listen to your favorite podcast. We put our SoundCloud link right there in the comments. But if you listen to podcasts on Apple, on Google, on Spotify, wherever, just put in Converge Media Network, and you can listen to the Morning Update Show and our other programming, Clapback Culture, the Rewind with Besa, our specials, Writer's Block, everything is in there. Also, again, we'll keep reminding people of this, that vaccination at the city sites, no appointment is necessary. No appointment is necessary right here at the City of Seattle vaccination site. So if you're looking to get a vaccination, man, you know what I'm saying? It's wide open for you. Voila. All right. So today we got two in-studio guests from Seattle Parks and Rec. We got Lakeema B.U.I.L. Remember, we talked about this the other day. There's $10,000 grants for people in community that are doing programming, especially programming, working with people who've been feeling the impact of this move for social justice. Also, people who've been impacted by COVID, and also people who've been impacted economically. So Lakeema B.U.I.L will talk about that. And we got the big fella himself. He's launching a new show, GTFO. And before you put all the acronyms together, it's GTF outside. So Jake Graff brought a B here talking about that as well. So really excited to have Lakeema and Jake Graff brought on set.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm looking forward to listening to what they have to say and talking to Jake later on in the show today.
Yeah, and before we get into it, and we'll go into this more detail tomorrow, because there was actually another shooting last night. It looks like a drive-by, and the geographic range along the city is now shifting. We talk about a lot of shootings happening in South Seattle. There was a shooting there, I believe it was South Lake Union, and then on the north end of the city last night, 3 days in a row. This gunplay is up in the city. So we'll reach out to the Seattle Police Department and get some more information as to what's going on. But, it's not even summertime yet.
Yeah, that's when people say, the summertime is when it gets real hot and heated, and just maybe people being out more. So there's actually more shootings. There's an uptick. But here we are just in the spring, and we're seeing this rise, though. It's serious.
Right, exactly. And so, like I said, we're going to reach out to the Seattle Police Department and see what additional information we can get. But this gun violence is moving all across the city. And, this is why everybody in this city should take this seriously. I know when things are contained to South Seattle, maybe other neighborhoods in Seattle are like, those are those guys. But, it's out here, and it's real. Trae Holiday. Looks like the brothers over at B.U.I.L.D, they gave you an award. They honored. Why don't you tell us a little bit about? Actually, here's what we'll do: is we'll play this clip first, and then you can tell us what this award ceremony was all about.
So, on behalf of Brothers United Leadership Development, we want to honor you with the first annual Lottie Cross Community Service Award to Ms. Trae Holiday for your amazing work in the community, uplifting our community. So.
Oh my goodness. Oh, you guys, this is beautiful. I don't want to get emotional, but y'all, you guys know how it is when you're in community and also a parent. And to be recognized like this by B.U.I.L.D 206, who is already doing such phenomenal work in the community, I'm beyond overjoyed. Thank you all. I love y'all so much.
We're affecting real change in the community. That's what it's about.
Thank you so much. Wow. And they are right. The award is gorgeous. And it is the Lottie Cross Community Service Award. There it is. Lottie Cross Community Service Award. They really represented and recognized some amazing women in the community doing phenomenal work. And shout out to them again. They had that award ceremony this weekend. And here I am in my B.U.I.L.D 206. I love B.U.I.L.D shirt. You guys are so amazing. And again, thank you guys for that amazing honor. It's always great to be recognized by folks in our community. We talk about it here on Converge all the time.
Yeah, it'd be great to get Dre Franklin from B.U.I.L.D back on the show and kind of let everybody know what he's been up to. Dr. Fauci gave a commencement speech at Emory University over the weekend and said some real interesting things. One of them is he talked about what COVID exposed was the undeniable effects of racism, especially around medical conditions here with Black people and people of color in America.
COVID-19 has shown a bright light on our own society's failings. Our country's experience with COVID-19 has not only upended our own lives, but it has uncovered a stark reality and failing of our own society. The unacceptable disparities in health experienced by minority groups, especially African Americans, Hispanics, and Native Americans. Many members of minority groups have a much greater risk of COVID-19, often because of the nature of the jobs that many of them have as essential workers in society. Now, very few of these comorbidities have racial determinants, almost relate to the social determinants of health dating back to disadvantageous conditions that some people of color find themselves in from birth regarding the availability of an adequate diet, access to health care, and the undeniable effects of racism in our society. Let us promise ourselves that our corporate memory of this tragic reality, that an infectious disease disparately hospitalizes and kills people of color, does not fade after we return to some form of normality. Righting this wrong will take a decades-long commitment. I strongly urge you to be part of that commitment.
So Trae Holiday, righting this wrong will take a decades-long commitment.
You know, he really points out so much of what, we hear a lot of community groups and folks saying it is important that we continue on with this message of, when we're talking about Black liberation and what it really looks like for us to be owning these solutions. We have the solutions in community. They need to be scaled up so that they can access more people and be serviceable to more of the population. And ultimately, we do. There's so many needs. And he's just right, spot on there. It's going to take at least a decade-long commitment towards, real Black liberation and in funding these Black-led movements and solutions.
Yeah, it's always interesting when these guys get on TV and kind of tell us what we've known all along.
Yeah.
But I think it's the fact that it's Fauci's platform, because he didn't say nothing we didn't already know. But it has a very large platform. All right, taking it to the Central District of Seattle, King 5 caught up with Africatown Community Land Trust, and looks like the Land Trust is making a call for art for the new Africatown Plaza apartment building on 23rd and Spring.
A call for art in what will eventually become a healing space for the Black community. Africatown Plaza looks to tackle community ownership and displacement here in the Central District.
Reclaiming Seattle's historically Black neighborhood.
If you look around in Seattle, you see a lot of cranes, and most of the cranes are not building things that everyone can afford.
Why King Garrett and the Africatown Community Land Trust have been steadily creating spaces that re-invite a community displaced by rising housing costs and development.
Just so that the community, the Black community that has called the Central District in Seattle home for almost 140 years, can be here and be part of the future.
The corner of 23rd Avenue and Spring Street will transform into Africatown Plaza. 126 affordable apartments, community spaces, and an art collection focused on healing and repair.
And we know that arts and culture are vital to the Black experience.
Art organization Wanawari is helping to co-curate the collection that will be featured throughout the site.
When you come from 23rd, we want people to already know you're entering into a Black space, and that Black space is the Central District.
So far, artists from as far as Nigeria have reached out to be part of this project, joining a vision that is not new, just gaining more ground. Africatown Plaza springboards off a similar project at the Liberty Bank building nearby. Construction is expected to break ground on Africatown Plaza this winter. Britt Moore, King 5 News.
All right, so Africatown Plaza, and they're making a call for art. I know you're part of Africatown Community Land Trust. Yeah. Maybe you could tell people where's the website or.
Well, yeah, absolutely. You guys, if you're interested in this project, you guys can join and look at africatownlandtrust.org, where you'll get more information. But it's just exciting that even King 5 saw a need to speak toward this. It's a great effort in community.
All right. So here's my comment on this is that I read the comments. It was good. King 5 went and covered it. But man, I'm a comment reader, and some comments is trolls and stuff like this. But I read a lot of the comments under that. It's a lot of hate, man. It's a lot of hate, and I thought that this right here was a great opportunity. Our archives aren't so deep, but they deep enough. I thought that it's interesting, right, when you get Black people in the legacy Black community saying that they want to see Black businesses. And they want to see Black culture, and they want apartment buildings that represent Blackness, that you get so much heat, right? I want to play a clip here. This is from Community Voices, Vanish in Seattle. And this is our brother, from out in Ballard talking about the Norwegian experience.
So Ballard started as a Norwegian fishing village, and over the years, in the last 10 years or so, that started to lose some of the Norwegian and Scandinavian-facing businesses in the area. We've made it a point to work with as many Scandinavian businesses in the Puget Sound area, actually really throughout the whole state of Washington. A great example is Scandinavian Specialties here in Ballard. We get all of our fish cakes from them. We have a very strong relationship with the Nordic Museum, National Nordic Museum down the street, partnering from a marketing perspective. We make a lot of content together. I'm actually the vice president of the Sons of Norway Leif Erikson Lodge up the street here. I think that speaks to how proud people are of their Scandinavian heritage, and they wanted a place to be able to continue to celebrate that in a very relaxed communal way in here. And I'd love to see other Scandinavian businesses emerge again. You know, you see it being used in a lot of the new apartment buildings that show up. It's just kind of, they use the name of something Scandinavian, but there really isn't any strong connection to the neighborhood.
So Adam McQueen there from Skull Beer Hall. That video was actually shot by Jake Grabrot, part of our Community Voices Vanish in Seattle. But you see, out in Ballard, I mean, I'll just be frank, I'm in Ballard, and you get white people talking about, hey, we love our Norwegian heritage. We want Norwegian businesses. We want to bring back our Norwegian culture. And by the way, it's all bad when people build apartments that maybe got just a Norwegian name, but it doesn't represent anything Norwegian. And I'll be honest with you, White King Garrett and Adam McQueen there are saying the exact same thing. But man, the flame be different.
Yeah, it always is. And I'm just glad that we can set the contrast there, because I think it's super important and valuable in this discussion. You know, Africatown Community Land Trust has really been pushing for, Black ownership of spaces, of institutions, creating, affordable home ownership opportunities so those that have been displaced can come back to the Central District. And then also creating home ownership opportunities that are going to be affordable, working with Homestead Community Land Trust and actually working to develop their own home ownership opportunities. And so the truth of the matter is that our community was disrupted with gentrification, period, point blank. All of the data, everything will showcase that. So we have to be very direct and honest when we're talking about what we're doing here, when we talk about bringing Black folks back and creating that vibrancy that we once had.
Right. And just wanted to give the good citizens of Seattle some contrast, that when you see Black people in the Central District talking about they want to see Black culture and Black businesses and apartment buildings that represent the neighborhood, it's not just Black folks saying that. Our brothers out there in Ballard are saying the exact same thing. So, turn that flame down. Stop flaming all the Black folks just because they want something cultural, man. And speaking of our partners out there in Ballard, and the guys out there at Skull Beer Hall, today is May 17th. It's the 17th of May festival. Today is Norwegian Constitution Day. Me and the big fella, Jake Grabrot, might get out there to Ballard and grab some lutefisk.
There we go. Nice to celebrate all the cultures.
This is what I'm saying, is just like, man, there's enough for everybody if we just respect everybody. You feel me? I grew up as a kid. We used to go to, my dentist was out there in Ballard. We used to go out there, man, and we catch the 43 out there to Ballard. And my mom used to take us to the Norwegian festival all the time. So little kid, when I really say I used to be in Ballard as a kid eating lutefisk, true story. You know what I'm saying? Hanging out with my guy Thor. Walk the streets out there. All right. So moving along here. This is from the Capitol Hill Seattle blog, and we put this up here. Here's what happened when Recall Sawant asked off-duty cops to join its campaign efforts on Broadway. It's Capitol Hill Seattle blog. And it looks like the tension around this Recall Sawant effort is moving from online to face-to-face. And this is here by Justin Carter. And basically what happened is the Recall Sawant team asked SPOG, the Seattle Police Officers Guild, off-duty police to come and join them. They needed bodies to the front, off-duty cops to the front in their efforts to gain signatures and raise awareness around the Recall Sawant effort. And, the Sawant people, not directly for their campaign, but just generally speaking, the Sawant supporters feel some kind of way because these guys position themselves in all the places where like Sawant holds rallies and hangs out. And there was some face-to-face confrontations up there.
Wow. I mean,
and this is Broadway.
Here we go. I mean, we've been saying we got to keep our finger on the pulse of this story. I'm so glad Justin Carter was able to cover this because we knew that, through this recall effort that we were going to see more and more things come up. Now, who would have known that, the recall Sawant folks would have reached out to SPOG and that they would do it in this regard. But ultimately, we've known that this story was going to have more and more developments, though.
Yeah. And, I think that what will recall Sawant, though, is that they, we've been monitoring this. I reached out to Recall Sawant and reached out to the Sawant, to council member Sawant as well, and I always like to throw this out here. There's been no council member that's given Converge more interviews than Shama Sawant from way back. And I mentioned this last week, back when we used to get ignored by City Hall, get ignored by City Council, get ignored by the county. Councilmember Sawant was the only person who would pick up the phone and actually give us an interview. But I think that with SPOG is a very polarizing organization, especially when you're talking about on Capitol Hill. People from Capitol Hill are still reeling from this police violence over the summer. And then this announcement by Chief Diaz last week probably didn't make it any better. But, I think that recall Sawant, when you talk about a line in the sand, they definitely drug a line in the sand when they're asking for SPOG to come out and help support their recall efforts.
Yeah, I agree 100%. And I think one of the things that people really have to understand and remember is that as much as we try to be united, we also have to understand that there are differences in ideology, differences in approach, and sometimes that really plays itself out to the surface. So for those who, are looking into this, think about it in both ways, man. We're seeing it play out in this regard, and that is a huge line that's being drawn. It's just true.
Yeah, this is going to be interesting. I think Councilmember Sawant won the election last year. I think it was about 1,500 votes between her and her opponent. Bezos had personally put a lot of money in the race. It was a target on Shama Sawant, a big target. And actually the early results showed Egan O'Ryan out front. And it wasn't until, total tabulations that Councilmember Sawant took the lead and everything else. I only say that to say 1,500 votes separated it last time. So, this recall effort is definitely one we'll keep our finger on. Moving along, and also this is very important. I want to remind everybody, or let you know now, we'll remind you later, is that tomorrow we have a very special episode of the Morning Update show. It's at 8:55 a.m. 8:55 a.m. because we're going live at 9 a.m. with Councilmember Morales. You guys have heard us asking to get Councilmember Morales on this show to talk about participatory budgeting. We have Councilmember Morales live from 9 a.m. to 9:27 a.m. So we're going to do a special edition of the Morning Update show starting at 8:55 a.m. tomorrow, and then we'll be back on at 11 as well. But you can put this up right here. This is from the South Seattle Emerald, written by I saw a guy, Paul Farouk Kiefer. You see it there? There it is, participatory budgeting, clearly delayed until next year. South Seattle Emerald, Paul Farouk Kiefer. And actually, this is special from Publicola. He's over at Publicola. But basically, Councilmember Morales has said that this dog ain't going to hunt this year. And the council member is actually putting in some legislation as we speak. And let me see if I can pull up a few notes on what the council member has put in down there at City Hall. And of course, now I cannot find it, but it's a third option. Black Brilliance had put an option, which the council member said was aspirational. Deputy Mayor Tiffany Washington, representing the executive branch, had put an option. And I don't believe Councilmember Morales ever got back to Deputy Mayor Tiffany Washington. And now Councilmember Morales is putting forth their own legislation right now. It's just submitted it down there at City Council. And so this is the legislation that she'll be pushing forward, which would basically move participatory budgeting over to the Department of Neighborhoods. I mean, from the Department of Neighborhoods over to the Office of Civil Rights would hire 3 employees, and they would put out an RFP to get a third organization to manage the participatory budgeting.
Yeah, I mean, it's a lot to follow. You guys heard me say it last week. It just feels like it's a pinball, going through a pinball machine. And ultimately, who is bearing the brunt end of this not coming out? It is really the communities that are in desperate need. And we talk about the fact that this started from the mayor doing a pledge of $100 million to Black community. Then it was $100 million to BIPOC. Then it got broken down where it's $30 million over here with this task force that was held by the mayor, and another $30 million now that was supposed to be with city council. It's just been a lot for folks to follow. It's been all over the place, honestly.
All right. And so this just went in down there at city council, and some bullet points here. It lifts an old proviso on $18 million, $1 million to be authorized to Seattle Office of Civil Rights to hire 3 people to get going on the RFP process. A new proviso is added for another $17 million. It says the money is for a contract with third-party administrator and for funding of PB projects, but none of the money so appropriated may be spent until authorized by future ordinance. So basically, the Seattle Office of Civil Rights can run an RFP, but they have to go back to city council to ask for more money before they can sign a contract and move forward with participatory budgeting from there. That's the quick analysis on the legislation that Council Member Morales has put forward. We're going to dig deeper into it. And of course, tomorrow, 8:55 a.m., we got Council Member Tammy Morales on air.
Yeah, absolutely. I can't wait to dive in a little bit more. This process has, again, been all over the place. And it's really important that we understand, from the council member, why it's now this third option. And also why there was never a response to Deputy Mayor Tiffany Washington. I think it's super important.
Yeah, and also it's going to be interesting as well to see, like, on this, the agency who submits the RFP, and the agency, they're going to be handling a lot of money specifically for this community here in Seattle. So I'm wondering if there's any things like, man, whoever it is, they need to be from Seattle. These dollars stay in the municipality. I mean, you're talking about, hiring agencies to manage it, or what criteria does the agency have to have, or whatever. So we got lots of questions for Councilmember Morales. Changing gears here on something that's just very happy. Yeah, it's political stuff, man. Something that's very happy, man. I told you guys that we went to Safeco Field last week and shot some stuff for Baseball Beyond Borders. And last week was just such a bombastic news week from beginning to end, man. I didn't want to ruin this moment. So we moved this from last week to this week. Just a short clip here of over at the baseball stadium. It's not every day that you get the ballpark all to yourself, but that's exactly what happened last week when the Seattle Mariners turned over the keys to Converge Media, and we shot some segments for the upcoming special highlighting the work of Baseball Beyond Borders. I won't lie, I felt like a kid in a candy store, and it was an amazing experience being able to uplift Baseball Beyond Borders' work to bring more young Black boys and girls into baseball and softball. Be on the lookout for the special soon, and to all the young people out there in our community, try baseball. Today is officially a good day. Man, and it really was a good day, and I felt like a kid in a candy store. And also, I tell people this, I don't think I've shared this with our audience before. It was just a few years ago, we were trying to get Converge off the ground, and really, I was just, like I said, wasn't nobody out here giving me a job. They chasing me now, but wasn't nobody out here. I couldn't even get an interview. And man, I used to serve beer right there in the stadium. I was one of the people there who was serving beer, and you got to figure out how to get all the foam all the way to the top. So you give somebody as much beer as possible in the cup. That's the only way you're gonna get a tip, man. But that's how we were surviving. You know what I'm saying? And trying to save money to buy cameras and buy microphones and everything else. So I mean, you can imagine the feeling of being a server there in the baseball stadium, being a server there, and years later that we're in there and we had the stadium all to ourselves and shooting and everything else. And I would just say this, if you're a server there at the baseball park and you trying to make ends meet, stay after it. And if you're going to the baseball park, man, make sure and tip your servers, because you just never know where they at.
Absolutely. That's such a touching story, because it really does show the resilience when you have any type of dream, no matter what it is. But I always think that specifically in this kind of creative world, you got to press for it. And so I love hearing that story and being able to showcase to the audience how it actually came to fruition. It's beautiful.
All right. We're going to take a break right now. When we come back, we have Lakeema B.U.I.L. from Seattle Parks and Rec. We're talking about these $10,000 grants for community members. You're watching the Morning Update Show.
I did it for the city, I did it for the love, I did it for the people, I did it for us.
Back on this rap ish, I ain't even broke a sweat, homie, this practice. Pondering my next move, staring at my track list, hope I ain't miss my window. Praying like a Baptist, Seattle's own. Tired of this Game of Thrones. They made a list of the best rappers, and guess who wasn't on? While the disrespect continues, I'm steady packing these venues.
Converge Media produces culturally relevant content for Black and urban audiences. Our coverage is raw, transparent, and objective, praised by community leaders, government officials, and residents. Support Converge Media today via Venmo, Cash App, or PayPal at Converge Media.
All right, welcome back to the Morning Update Show. My name is Omari Salisbury, and man, I'm excited right now to join. Welcome to the set, Lakeema B.U.I.L,
Well,
Seattle Parks and Recreation, and excited to have you here because you're talking about you got some money for community, and at first thing, and usually a lot of times we hear about things last. And it's like, oh, man, I wish I would have known. Mm-hmm. And when we saw this information, we thought it was really important to be able to get it out to the community and tell everybody what's going on. And by the way, right now, we're going to go ahead and put a link into the Parks website for people. So if they want to click on the link after you explain everything.
Yes.
But quickly, you can introduce yourself to the audience, tell them what you do, and tell them about this grant program.
So my name is Lakeema B.U.I.L. I currently work for Seattle Parks and Recreation, and I'm over the Welcome Back Seattle grant. This is a grant that community organizations, individuals, small businesses up under $150,000 net can apply for to provide grants, community programs in the areas of physical fitness, mental wellness, also economic stimulus. So if you're looking at doing some entrepreneur type of programming for youth, this is a program for you. We're looking to have activations at several of our different parks, getting people out there, mitigating isolation and the disruptions from COVID.
All right. And now how much are the grant amounts?
The grant is up to $10,000. Some folks ask for $2,500, some need 5, some need 10.
10 to win.
10 to win. Yes.
All right.
Yes.
And I mean, a lot of time, I'll be honest with you, is that a lot of programs sound really good. And then you go there and the barrier to entry is ginormous, especially when you're talking about community groups, organizations, and small businesses. I mean, tell us about the application process.
Well, this is true. When we first initiated this, the granting funds, it was Get Moving and Recreation for All. It was in 2015, launched January 2016. The application and the contract was 16 pages. We're happily to say it's now down to about 4 pages because we continue to, as Makata Ebube is my mother, refine ourselves in a defining moment. So that is always keeping in contact with different community members and doing outreach and engage and see how we can streamline the process. We also have a group of folks that we work with called Community Engagement Ambassadors that speak several different languages, up to 14, that help to do technical assistance for those individuals and or groups or community members that need technical assistance with application support. Currently, we've had about 100 people contact us around programming. 90 people have participated in our information sessions, and I want to say at least 15 people have submitted their applications for review for that type of assistance.
So when you mention info sessions, so that you guys are holding info sessions, people have more questions about this grant?
Yes. So our last info session, unfortunately, was last Thursday. The grant closes on the 21st at 11:59 p.m. Do not try to put in your application at 11:30. Quit playing, because all kinds of things happen. So please do it earlier, because once 11:59 hit, your application did not get in.
Look, she put up the, let me get this camera. She put up the Matumbo finger. No. 11:59 p.m. on May 21st. I thought that there was something interesting here. And looking at this flyer, it said grants should support healing from the tri-pandemics of racial equality, disparity, COVID, social isolation, and the economic downturn. And we know that in some communities, it might just be economic downturn. I think everybody, though, COVID, social isolation, but then racial equality and disparity. And I'm like, damn, in our community, it's like the trifecta. People need to apply.
Indeed.
Because we're getting hit by all three.
Yeah, indeed. It's very important that we are supporting the communities that are most impacted and furthest from education, racial, economic justice. And Parks and Recreation supports this work. And I am a community activist, not only at the job, but in my life. So I see firsthand how we are impacted by these things, and knowing that resources are available can help support us. Now, it won't be sustainable. How do we get our communities to be able to be sustainable? Provide them opportunities, access, and then resources to start getting these dollars to be able to help us.
Right. And well, let me ask you this before we let you go. Is you say that you're out there, you're in community, in the space. There's this programming, a lot of this programming has been occurring in the community when people just are getting neighbors and friends together.
That's
and they're
right.
volunteering and they're bringing their collective resources together.
Yes.
And so I think this is probably a good opportunity for all of those groups that have literally, as people say, been doing the work.
That's right.
To be able to have some resources to actually improve their program.
Absolutely. Absolutely. There's a lot of work going on. Right? There's a lot of work going on in silos. There's a lot of work that we come together as collaborative, collective entities moving us to ascension. And so these dollars are helping to try to support that. Right? So I say apply, and we're going to get it out there. We've funded several different types of programs from neurologic disorders to people with limited ableism, to transgender folks that need to have healing space, safe healing spaces to talk about the different things that have occurred in that community. So we are looking to provide that with these dollars.
All right, good stuff. So we have the link. It's in the comments there. Any last words real quick before we let you go?
Well, I just appreciate the time. I appreciate the community. And I hope and know that these dollars is just a start of us being able to support ourselves in doing the type of healing that's necessary from all the things. And I mean all the things that continue to interact and uproot us. on a daily basis.
That's it. We need to stay rooted because we've been blowing around like tumbleweeds out of our neighborhoods, blowing further south, everything else. All right, we're gonna challenge our viewers, man. The link is there. Go ahead and share that link with people who you know are doing programming or thinking about doing programming. It's a great opportunity. Grants up to $10,000. Man, let's go get it. The deadline is May 29th. Or May 21st at 11:59 p.m. And if you submit it at midnight, then Lakeema's going to jump through your computer and say, no.
No.
All right, Lakeema Bell, Seattle Parks and Recs. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you so much for having me.
Okay, we're going to take a quick break right now. When we come back, you're going to be joined by Jake Gravbrot and Trae Holiday, and they're talking about GTF outside. You're watching the Morning Update Show.
Public Health Seattle King County, Zero Youth Detention, along with our partners from across the South King County region, are committed to reducing violence and creating the conditions needed for our neighborhoods to be safe and free of crime. Too often, the response to crime and violence has been a piecemeal approach with a program here and a program there. When family units collapse, schools fail to educate, the economy fails to produce jobs, and crime rises, we've looked to law enforcement and punitive measures to save us. Nothing could be more wrong or further from the truth. Law enforcement can't shoulder all the burden or take the rest of us off the hook. We are acknowledging the lived experiences of Black, Brown, and Indigenous communities. We are centering community as the experts who can effectively identify key issues related to systems, policies, and practices that impact children, families, and communities of color across this region. Those most impacted by the issues will help call out and identify the root causes, including structural and systemic factors. 150 residents will partner with King County to develop strategies, solutions, and an action plan that explicitly addresses system changes needed and eliminates barriers to access for Black, Brown, and Indigenous folks. These residents will also identify the criteria used to measure our collective success. Simply put, we need your help as we do the work needed to make King County the safest in this country. It will take specific commitments from all of us, community members, our young people, elders, and leaders from the sectors all across this region. Together, we will get this work done. Please click the link below and sign up for a work group. Or you can recommend a co-facilitator from community for each work group. We look forward to hearing your ideas, concerns, feedback, and solutions as we build a community where all our children can be happy, healthy, hopeful, safe, and thriving.
Welcome back, everybody, to the Morning Update Show. I'm your co-host, Trae Holiday, and so excited to be in the studio with my friend, my colleague, Jake Gravbrot. Your mic. There you go.
I thought my voice was loud enough, but apparently I need a microphone for this.
Yeah. Thank you so much for joining us, Jake. I'm excited because, as a creative yourself, you come up with these ideas and you have a platform to actually explore those ideas. Tell the people about your new upcoming venture.
All right. Well, I guess more than anything, I've been creating so many different things over the course of the last, year for Converge. And I've been kind of trying to figure out a way to actually put a lot of that together in its own type of packaged way. Also, some of my greatest interests are music and the great outdoors. And so in theorizing different things that I could do to create some kind of like a web series, I figured why not just put those things together. And I came up with the idea for Get the F Outside, GTFO for short. But the idea behind it was just to try to inspire people to get outdoors more, to enjoy what we have as natural resources. Also, I wanted to try to combine music into that. And so I found a way to take artists and work with them strictly outdoors to create content specifically for the show itself. So it's going to be music videos. It's going to be highlights of national parks, state parks, various different things around here that all hopefully just inspire people to get the F outside.
Amazing. And that was a really great setup. Thank you so much, Jake. You guys take a look at Jake's promo for Get the F Outside.
The back backyard got mountains in it. I do not move until my accountant finish. Big mason jars, each one an ounce of spinach. You only see results, the real work ain't documented. Now what's realer than that? My drive is so crazy, I might speed with a flat. Keep a fly around me like I'm feeding a gnat. Or I'm feeding a cause she feeling for that. I ain't a player, I just crush a lot. And I'm all in like a Russian bot. See, I don't trust the streets, and I don't trust the thought. But a real woman, I could love a lot. And we could tie the knot, if she love or not. Just wanna plot, till they dig your plot. But that's cool, I ain't controlled by fear, no. If I blacked on you, it's cause I care, bro. Quarantine bars so essential. Sorta sharp as my mental. You have to unravel the scroll to check my credentials. They don't care about what you can't, only what you can.
Wow, Jake, what a great way to blend both of your loves, or at least two of them, into this kind of project. I'm excited already just looking at that promotion and announcement for the show. You talked a little bit about what inspired you to do this, but I know that you get outdoors all the time, right? And so the fact that you already are doing that, and then you have these connections to artists, really helps to spawn what this show is about. What can folks be looking for and expect in a typical episode?
Well, so this upcoming Sunday, the 23rd at 7 p.m. is going to be the premiere, the air date for the first episode. I've got Ninja Nicest. He's a Brooklyn-based MC, producer, and studio owner. I've got him on the show. We've got a Talk It Out segment, an interview, and then there's going to be just some more stuff on there, the video that we created, as well as ultimately all of the outdoor clips that I put together for the first episode. So you got to check it out and find out. 7 p.m. this upcoming Sunday, May 23rd, on all Converge media platforms.
Absolutely. Well, Jake, thank you again for bringing your brilliance to the Converge media platform in general. I see you do your thing all the time, and I'm always inspired by it. You guys heard it right here. Jake Gravbrott's new show is airing on the 23rd. It's every other Sunday, 7 p.m. Pacific time, anywhere you can find Converge. Thanks again, Jake, for joining me in studio.
Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. You guys, we're going to take a quick break, and we'll be right back. You're watching the Morning Update Show.
I did it for the city, I did it for the love, I did it for the people, I did it for us.
Back on this rap ish, I ain't even broke a sweat, homie, this practice. Pondering my next move, staring at my track list, hope I ain't missing my window. Praying like a Baptist, Seattle's own, tired of this Game of Thrones. They made a list of the best rappers, and guess who wasn't on? While the disrespect continues, I'm steady packing these venues.
Converge Media produces culturally relevant content for Black and urban audiences. Our coverage is raw, transparent, and objective, praised by community leaders, government officials, and residents. Support Converge Media today via Venmo, Cash App, or PayPal at Converge Media.
All right, welcome back to the Morning Update Show. So Trae Holiday, Saturday, we're out there in Columbia City for Julius Caesar's Laugh Rehab. And me and you, we're morning people. I don't think I've hung out with you that late in a long time.
Absolutely. We had so many good laughs. And the thing of it is that I love that Julius Caesar and the Emperor's Group really found a need to say, you know what, let's uplift ourselves. So many of us have been cooped in the house during COVID, and there's really a need for us to have laughter around us. So I just love the fact that it's called Laugh Rehab. We need it right now.
Right. And it was a very COVID-spaced event there. I think less than 50% of the venue was available. So it was good that we got a seat. And a lot of people saw Rod Long here on last Friday, which was, wow, what an amazing feel-good Friday with Rod Long. If you hadn't seen last Friday's show, it'll really uplift you, the last segment there. But we got a short clip here of Rod Long from Saturday.
And now it's time for me, and I am so happy to be back in beautifully gentrified Columbia City. This is a really different neighborhood than it used to be, because 20 years ago there was no Tudor Bellas, there was Tudor Crack House. And that's what was happening in this neighborhood. So this is my old neighborhood. I used to live in Skyway, Black Beverly Hills. Yeah, beautiful Black Beverly Hills, overlooking the Rainier Valley.
Rod kept us laughing, and so did the other acts. And it's a beautiful thing because the Empress Group and Julius Caesar's Laugh Rehab will be having more and more guests. Julius was telling us a little bit about it. I always call him C's, Brother C's, was telling us a little bit about it. So I'm so glad, man. And Rod Long was tearing down the house on Saturday.
Yeah. And like I said, big shout out, Julius Caesar's Laugh Rehab. We got free tickets. We ain't getting no drink tickets, though. You gonna have to work on that, Julius. It makes the show funnier. At least when you give us some drink tickets. Moving along here is last Friday at 2:00. Chats with Trae. People, it's been a minute since people seen Chats with Trae, and we'll remind people of this catchy intro. We'll play it right now.
Chats with Trae.
Chats with Trae. You see it in there. 100% Black girl magic. All right. So last Friday, you talked to Miss Evergreen State. That's Jamaica Haynes Lewis. And she talked about her volunteer platform, which is uplifting foster care because she grew up in foster care.
When I got into pageantry, I knew I wanted my volunteer platform to be empowering youth in foster care, because it can be such a stigmatizing experience where people look down on you, right? And it isn't just the dirty looks, it's the exclusion where you're not a part of the community. And especially for our young people who need that guidance and that protection, it is so important that they are a part of the community so that they don't fall prey to people who try to take advantage of them, or they end up with the lag in their skill set as they continue to grow up into adulthood.
I think her message was so spot on, and honestly, such a great time for that episode to launch and to have the relaunch of Chats with Trae, as we really are bringing awareness to National Foster Care Month. You know, and when we think about people utilizing their lived experience to bring in diversity into spaces like pageantry, I think it's so important and so key. We also see our state rep, Twyna Nobles, bringing her lived experience in at the legislative level to create new legislative policy around really young foster care students having a village around them. So I told Jamaica, I'm just so happy that she was able to come on to Chats with Trae and share a little bit of that messaging and also a bit of her own personal story.
Yeah, no, it's good stuff. We want to, I mean, what's really good about Jamaica and Jamaica coming on was that we actually talked to Jamaica a year ago, one year ago, and she's been consistent and raising awareness around National Foster Care Month. And I'm glad that she was able to come on. All you is put the link to last Friday's episode. It's there in the comments. And Chats with Trae is dope. 15, 20 minutes catching up with community. And now, who do you have on this Friday?
Yeah, really excited to bring on a community advocate around education, Mr. David Sarju, who has worked in a wide variety of educational platforms. And he's bringing some awareness to what we always talk about here, how important it is for us to understand some of the identities and entities around education in our community. So I'm really glad that David will be here, you know, that he came, and that we'll be able to air that this Friday at 2:00, y'all.
Yeah, big shout outs to new members of our production team, because they've been working with you on Chats with Trae. That's Ibrahim Omar and Curtis Delgado.
Yeah,
putting it together. And actually, we'll be playing some clips for Friday's show throughout the week. All right, so tomorrow, a reminder here, 8:55 a.m. This is the time that worked. We're going to go live with Council Member Morales. Councilmember Morales, tomorrow, 8:55 a.m., we're going to be talking about participatory budgeting, this $30 million, this legislation that she has just introduced here, while I believe just before we went on air, and how it's going to work out, or plan to move it from Department of Neighborhoods over to the Office of Civil Rights and RFPs and some of everything else. So special time tomorrow, and we'll be on air twice tomorrow. So we'll be on air 8:55 to 9:30, and then back again at 11 a.m. Trae Holiday, we're up against the hour. Any last words before we get out of here?
I'm always trying to bring together, to you guys, the opportunities for you to see yourself as a part of the solution. Today, you can learn a little bit more right after this morning update show. You guys can go to, I think, King County Equity Now's Facebook page, and you guys can find a community conference that's happening. Press is invited and everything else, but we love to steep it in community, because we're going to be talking about some of these necessary investments in community. Participatory budgeting is one of them. So please join that discussion if you guys have the time. We'd love to have you guys in the comments and hear more from our audience and our community members about how important these investments are. So I'm always telling y'all, see yourself as a part of the solution.
All right, good stuff. Before we get out of here, I want to make sure and thank all of you out there, especially those of you who either make a one-time donation or you're a subscriber or a supporter. Believe me when I tell you this, we just make it look good, but you guys keep us on air. Our $5 family, our $5 army, and above, you guys keep us on air. We definitely appreciate everything that you do. Go ahead and challenge a friend or a loved one or a relative, man. Support Converge Media. We're out of here for today. Again, tomorrow, 8:55 a.m., we're live with Councilmember Tammy Morales. Until tomorrow at 11 a.m. Want to remind... Oh, you ready? Oh, okay. I responded to you. Yeah, no. All right. Well, want to remind everybody to go forward in your purpose and go forward in your humanity. Until tomorrow at 11 a.m. Peace.
Lift every voice and sing till earth in heaven ring with the harmonies of liberty. Let our rejoicing rise as the listening skies. Let it resound loud as the rolling sea. Sing a song full of the faith that the dark past has taught us. Sing a song full of the hope that the present has brought us. Facing the rising sun.